Darius Venn wasn't supposed to be anywhere near the crash site. He'd planned a simple supply run to a derelict mining camp lot on the edge of the Red Gorge, nothing more. But the desert winds of Zareph 4 had other ideas. A sandstorm, violent even by local standards, had kicked up without warning, tearing across the plains like a living beast. His skimmer lost its balance, spun sideways, and toppled into a ravine. By the time he finally hauled himself out, bruised and angry, the storm had passed. But something else lingered in its wake, something he couldn't explain. A trail of iridescent blue blood. It gleamed faintly along the cracked earth like scattered gemstones, a shimmering path winding between jagged rocks. Darius had seen a lot of things while scavenging across frontier worlds. Broken drones, alien fauna, debris from forgotten wars, but nothing bled blue and glowing. He should have turned back. That would have been smart. Instead, curiosity, and something deeper, something he couldn't name, pulled him forward. The trail led to a hollow beneath an overhanging cliff. There, half buried in dust and rubble, lay the wreckage of a small vessel. Not a civilian pod. Not any design he recognized. Sleek, silver-white, etched with fractal patterns that seemed to shift when he looked at them. And beside the shattered hull, curled in pain, was the girl. She was young, maybe 19, maybe older. Humanoid but not human. Not with those shimmering lavender markings along her arms, or the faint nebula-like glow behind her eyes. She clutched her side where a jagged piece of metal jutted out, blue luminescent blood pooling beneath her. When she noticed him, she struggled upright. "Stay back," she warned in a voice both melodic and weak. "My presence. It's dangerous for your kind." Darius raised his hands. "Lady, I repair junk for a living. You're the most interesting thing that's crash-landed in my desert in years. I'm not leaving you to die." She hesitated, breathing hard. "My name is Ares." "I'm Darius," he said softly. "Let me help." Removing the shard from Ares's side was messy, difficult work, but he managed to stabilize her using a medpatch kit he always carried for emergency salvage accidents. When she finally stopped trembling, he wrapped her in his coat and helped her sit against a rock. Ares studied him as if he were some rare creature. "You aren't afraid." "Oh, I'm definitely afraid," he replied. "But I'm more afraid of what happens if I walk away." Her lips curved subtly. Strange human. While she rested, Darius inspected the broken vessel. Its systems were fried, beyond anything he could repair with his portable tools. But he noticed something else. Deep scorch marks along the hull, the pattern unmistakable. "Someone shot you down." Ares turned her face away. "Hunters." "Why?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stared at the sky, at the shimmering arc of Zareph 4's second moon. "I carry something they want. Something I must keep hidden until I reach my people. If the hunters catch me, the whole of the Aurelian Reach could fall." Darius whistled. "Big stakes." "You could say that." Ares tried to stand but nearly collapsed. He caught her, steadying her as gently as he could. "You can't travel like this," he told her. "My workshop is 3 kilometers from here. I've got supplies, tools, a secure shelter. Let me get you there, patch you up, and figure out the rest." She met his gaze carefully, searching for deception. Finding none, she nodded. "Lead the way." The walk was slow. Ares leaned on him heavily, and several times she stumbled as if gravity itself fought against her. Darius talked to keep her conscious. Stories about scavenging, about nearly blowing himself up trying to repair an antique reactor, about the time a desert worm tried to eat his entire skimmer. Ares even laughed once. It sounded like distant chimes carried by wind. They made it to his workshop, a reinforced structure built from scavenged starship plating, and he guided her inside. The moment she crossed the threshold, his drone assistants whirred to life, flickering in alarm at her injuries. "Easy," Darius told them. "She's a guest." Over the next several hours, he cleaned her wounds properly, using calibrated nanogel to accelerate tissue repair. Ares's biology defied every medical rule he knew, but she responded well to treatment, her luminescent blood dimming as the wound closed. At last she sat comfortably on a cot, her eyes bright again. "I owe you my life," she said quietly. "Let's call it even when you tell me why you're really here." Ares folded her hands, her expression shifting from vulnerable to solemn. "For countless cycles, my people, the Lumeri, have guarded a cosmic archive known as the Stars Heart. It is a living record of civilizations, histories, and futures, a source of terrible power if misused. The hunters seek it for conquest. And you have it." She nodded slowly. "Embedded in my mind. I am its keeper." Darius blinked. "So you're important. In my culture." Ares sighed. "I am a legend. But legends are hunted most fiercely." He sat beside her. "Then we'll keep you hidden. I've outsmarted raiders, pirates, syndicates, you name it." Ares smiled sadly. "The hunters are not so easily deterred." The warning came at dawn. A violent tremor rattled the workshop as something massive descended outside. Darius checked the scanner. An armed dropship had landed 50 meters from his door. "They found me," Ares whispered, her voice drenched in dread. Darius grabbed his plasma welder, the closest thing he had to a weapon. "Stay behind me." "Darius, they will kill you." "Not if I'm faster than them." The workshop door exploded inward. Armored figures stormed inside, their visors glowing crimson. Darius moved on instinct, firing a white-hot arc of plasma across the nearest hunter's chest. The armor sizzled, the figure fell. Ares raised her hands. Starlight erupted from her palms, hurling two attackers backward with a pulse of shimmering force. But there were too many. A hunter seized Darius by the throat, slamming him into a wall. His vision dimmed. Through the blur, he saw Ares struggling, overwhelmed. And then everything stopped. A pulse of radiant light burst from Ares's body. Time itself seemed to split around her. The hunters froze mid-movement, suspended like statues. She approached Darius, kneeling beside him as the world shimmered around them. "I didn't want you to see this," she said mournfully. "The Stars Heart awakens only in moments of great peril." Darius could barely speak. "You saved me. You saved me first." Her luminous fingers touched his cheek gently. "I will not forget that." With a final brilliant flare, the light consumed the frozen hunters, reducing them to drifting motes of cosmic dust. When the glow faded, Ares looked unimaginably weary. "The Stars Heart will guide me home now," she whispered. "But I must leave immediately before more hunters arrive." Darius felt a hollow ache inside his chest. "Will I ever see you again?" Ares stepped closer. "Across worlds, across galaxies, your name will be remembered. The human who sheltered a keeper when all others would have fled. Darius Venn. My people will sing of you." He swallowed hard. "That's something." She leaned forward, pressing her forehead briefly to his. "Goodbye, brave human." A swirl of shimmering energy enveloped her, lifting her upward, carrying her through a tear in the air that sealed the moment she vanished. Silence fell. Only a few glowing particles remained, drifting slowly downward like falling stars. Darius caught one in his hand. It pulsed softly, warm, alive, before dissolving into nothing. He stood alone in his workshop, breathing in the quiet after the storm. He'd helped a hurt alien girl. He'd never known she was a legend, but he would remember her for the rest of his life. And across galaxies, stories of a desert scavenger named Darius Venn were already taking shape, told by the luminous people who owed their future to a stranger's kindness.